I just got a picture sent to me of this thing in like a million pieces. So every SEMA build, apart from the Rolls-Royce, starts with Michael Lightbourne's crazy design and ideas. Like, if you Google Michael Lightbourne, he is one of the biggest car finders in the world. You phone him and say, I want the flying Pinto that was used in the hourly advertising back in the day. He'll go, cool, I know there's a guy that's got that in, let's say, Minnesota, right? And he'll get you any car you want. He was one of the people that found, like, say, the Orbitron outside of a Lady of the Night bar in Juarez in Mexico, and, you know, changed his life. And he sold cars to everyone around the world because he has an eye for the details in life. And when Michael phones you and goes, I know we're building the Donovan, which was the CIA memorial car, but how do you fancy building another SEMA car? He says, if I put up the time and Julio puts up the labor, will you put up the sponsors? I was like, yeah, I can do that, no worries. And you must understand that this isn't as easy as, you know, in America, let's say you work till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you spend an hour and a half trying to catch everyone before the door's shut, yeah? In England, I work from 7 in the morning, 7 at night. I get home, I put my kids to bed, I make my lovely lady some food and drink, whatever, and then I stay up to 3 a.m. phoning sponsors, gaining traction, trying to get free parts. There was a 1969 Porsche 911 shell sat on a container in the middle of nowhere, like in Minnesota or something like that. And he goes, I know it's a Porsche. Let's do a dune buggy. I'm like, okay. So he goes up there, and its Porsche body's actually pretty good. Like, you know, it's got no title, it's got no VIN, it's been ground out years ago. And you start looking at it, and he's like, well, we don't have these parts, we don't have that part, we never heard. You know, what can we use? And Michael starts going down the route of, okay, we're going to cut it up. We're going to put 6 inches in the hood. We're going to put 6 inches in the back. We're going to put a roll cage in it, you know, do all this kind of stuff. And Michael just throws the rule book out the window. He does not care. Like, it's like, let's make it like on an exoskeleton so that we can just drop the whole thing down, pin it into place, and then say if you're driving it and the engine throws a rod, you can lift the body off, whip the engine out, put a new one in. So the whole body was just on pins. It was amazing. And then basically, because Michael knows this guy out in New Mexico who teaches all the SAS and the SBS and all the American, like the Navy SEALs, to fly like abrasive helicopters like Apaches. Out in New Mexico, all the training is done, yeah? And they get the paint to paint all the Apache helicopters and the stealth bombers, all this kind of stuff. It's called stealth bomber paint, basically. He's like, why don't you paint it in stealth paint? I was like, well, how the hell are we ever going to get that? And basically what it does, the light hits it, and it's such a makeup that it doesn't reflect off. So if you put a torch on it in the dark, it just looks like you're looking into the abyss. It absorbs the light into the paint, and you don't get any reflection or like kickback off the paint. And the guys turn up, like military guys turn up, they mix the paint up. Michael's sat in the corner because he's the man. Like, he knows everyone. You know, he called in this favor. He's there observing it. They mix the paint up. They shoot the car like 2 or 3 times. Too much paint than you need. Go overboard. So then if there is a problem, hopefully we could buff it out or whatever. They take the plastic container. They take the gun. They take the lot and they leave. I mean, the only car that we know that's a civilian vehicle in the world that gets painted by stealth bomber paint. Like, off the wall, you know. Once again, Michael Lightbourne, just Google this guy, man. Like, he is crazy. And he's like, let's do the interior with auto meter gauges. I was like, auto meter gauges? They're not going to work. They're going to look crazy. Like, why would you do that? You know, because auto meter gauges are a drag car, race car. Put them in. This guy has an eye for the details, man. They just worked. You know, he says, I want this one, this one, this one, this one. So I phoned Autometer and I said, we're building a car for SEMA. Are you guys interested? First time I've ever spoke to them. When I phone these people, by the way, I don't just talk like this. I go, oh, good afternoon. Sorry to bother you. My name's Mr. Hard from England. And we're phoning in relation to the SEMA show in Las Vegas. And they're like, buddy, we know where the SEMA show is in Las Vegas. I'm like, perfect. So, well, we're building a car in El Paso, Texas. And what we're going to do is we're going to put on a show at the Arc Audio's booth. Here's the booth number. Would you consider working with us in relation to dials? We love your dials. I have them in England. We have them in El Paso. We have them all around the world. And we want to show your product off at SEMA. No worries. What do you need? So Michael's like, ding, ding, ding. He gives me a list that's as long as my arm that I'm embarrassed to ask for. And I just shoot it across to him. And I'm like, cool. Do you need anything else? So, you know, as long as you don't ask for too much, things normally pan out pretty goddamn well. And these gauges, man, I don't know how he does it with his ideas in life, but they just seem to all fall in place. You jump in, and the comments we had over the gauges were just amazing, you know? And when Michael goes, Sam, I want LED lights. I want these big 4 old school 1960s spotlights. I'm like, we're going to SEMA, man. Come on, let's put LEDs on it. Let's do light bars. So he's like, cool, well, if you can get light bars, cool. But I was kind of thinking like a set of Hellas, something real cheap, you know, like $100 from Walmart. So I phoned the guys at Bulldog LED Lighting, had a few lemonades with them at some point, and they're like, anything you need, give us a call. So I phone them, and I'm like, well, I want lights to the front, I want lights to the back, I want lights here, I want red ones here, I want big bar across the front, I want a bar across the back. So that when it's lit up, you can't see it. It's just like a glowing ball of light, like a SWAT car would be. They're like, cool, we'll send it to you. 4 days before the car was going to get finished, all the lights turn up, they look amazing, you know? It's just ridiculous. You start talking to people, and I'm on the phone to the guys at OMF Performance, and I'm like, man, thank you very much for building us these wheels. We really, really appreciate it. And they're like $2,000 worth of wheels, custom made, free. It's like, we want to do something with the shocks. We got these Fox ones on it, but they're all a bit beaten up. He's like, I've got a guy at Exit Shocks. I'm like, no worries. Send me the dimensions. So I'm like getting the guy to send me like dimensions with a freaking tape measure. And he's like, no worries. A week before SEMA, the shocks turn up, you know, and all these things just seem to fall in place. And it's all about teamwork. It's all about crazy people that you meet in life that you know are going to be there for the rest of it. And that's the best thing in life. You meet people in life that will change your world, but they're going to be there forever if you treat them right, you know. Another strain to this story is a lady called Katie Osborne who runs the NSBC for Meekum Car Auctions. Blonde, very stunning lady, but a lovely human being. I got to meet her dad and her mum and her brother. And her brother is one of these sculptors. He's like an art sculptor. He's really young, probably 19 years old. He's like, I had this idea that the Porsche Baja looked a bit like a remote control car, like an RC car, yeah? And I said, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we could make a scale replica of a remote control to go next to the car so that it looks, if you had no background, it would look like a toy car, right? Because it look like a toy car. And this kid was like, I'll make you one. And he's like some real young kid, like off the walls crazy, but most artists are that good, you know? And he phones me up like a month before we were going to head to SEMA. He's like, I made you a remote control. Okay. He's like, how do I get it to SEMA? I'm like, oh my God. So this amazing kid has gone out of his way with his university and his college to build this bad remote control that's scaled perfectly to the car. And he also made it work. So he had a remote control car on the floor. So when you turn the wheel to steer it, it turned the remote control. When you pull the trigger backwards, it went backwards. Pull the trigger forward, it worked, you know? We had it on the booth. Everyone was going crazy over it. These things just happen. Like, you bump into a random kid, and as a polite individual, you say hi and start talking to them, and then they end up building you a remote control for your car that's going to SEMA that looks like a remote control car that works a remote control car. Like, it is off the walls crazy. And it got an amazing response. We had videos with loads of famous people over it. They were coming over and checking it out. It really brought the public to the car. It was like a crazy talking point. When the remote control was in the back of the truck, going back to Iowa, the wind was really bad. It came out and it got destroyed. And it was really upsetting because I just got a picture sent to me of this thing in like a million pieces. And I was like nearly in tears because this kid had built it for his school project. He'd driven it all the way to Vegas. It survived Vegas, but on the way back from El Paso, without my control, I was in the UK. It got damaged and broken. And I phoned him and I personally apologized, and it's dealt with. And, you know, he's still got his grades because of it. But sometimes in life, if you can't oversee things, you can't do anything about it. And it happened. But you know what? We got some amazing pictures. It broke the internet. Like there's a video out there of the Porsche Baja Dune Buggy with huge remote control, and there's a car just driving around the wheels. It's really cool. And you know, you build relationships with Katie Osborne and the guys from Arc Audio and Pipes Exhaust and all these amazing people that you think as a Brit you're never going to get to know, and it just opens up so many doors. It's just life changing, you know. So the car, once again, we lost our ass on it. We put it through a Meekum auction and I think made like 20 grand. It's just, you know, we got this stupid thing where we make bad stuff and we make bad decisions when to sell them. But then once again, Michael Lightbourne sat there and goes, let's dump this piece of shit. So it happens, it goes through, we lose our ass, and we come out the other end with a reputation for building something cool once again. So let's hope that because Michael Lightbourne doesn't have a decision on where or when I sell it or whatever, maybe hopefully I won't lose my ass so much on the NAS charger, you know. I have a feeling in my head, in the back of my soul, that in 30 years' time, just like Gene Winfield or Ed Roth, all these people that never got appreciated for anything they've done in life, yeah? All the cars, their artwork, all this kind of stuff that changed their life when they died, yeah? I think that Street Toys, Michael Lightbourne, possibly even me, will have this reputation when we're gone for building crazy stuff that no one at the time really cared about, but in 20, 30 years' time, they're going to think they were crazy. They were bat off the rails lunatics.
This month's car stories are sponsored by The Ridge. The Ridge makes a line of wallets and bags that are designed to be minimalist and help us just take with us the things we actually need. So check out the link in the description below for a discount and buy one for yourself, or they make great Christmas presents. And be sure to let them know how thankful you are for their support of VINwiki.